Also, they must be taught to not feel afraid of nature, the dark, thunder, wind. This would help them to know them a lot to move in the integration of things and not into the polarity of things. But the most important thing to manage this is obviously the parents and teachers. They are the first ones that have to change their vision and the first ones that have to break with their concepts about sociability. This means the parents for us stop being parents. Parents really should start to be guides, guides of life, not to tell us what must be done and how. They should give advice, but about what is best to do, so to be a guide or companion. The same with the teacher. He shouldn't be someone who tells you what you have to learn. The teacher should be someone who learns with the student, a learning companion, someone with who you can reach an argument to learn. And it doesn't matter how much one thinks they know about something, there is always something new to understand, and it must be learned together. So to take into consideration that the parents must become guides and the teachers must become companions. Narrator. According to the Mayan calendar, time divides itself in cycles which have a beginning and an end. Also, other cultures have calculated the cycles within which humanity moves. All of them have calculated the exact dates when an age would change. The age we are in now, according to the calendars, finishes on the 21st of December, 2012. 2012, a year that people are speaking about so much. December the 21st, 2012, especially, is an equinox. It's the sun entering its spring. Earth enters into spring on September the 21st in the southern hemisphere. On December the 21st, 2012, it's the sun that goes into its spring, so it starts to blossom. My advice to everyone for 2012 is to stay totally calm because there is no need to fear what may happen. There's no need to be catastrophic or a sensationalist. It's just an equinox. The changes can be felt days before and days after. Spring begins days before spring. Flowers start to bloom weeks before the spring equinox. Also, there are still cold days after the spring equinox. So we must not think that 2012 is an absolute day-to-night change. It's just an equinox where many things can happen, things that so many prophets and people have been talking about, but it depends on each of us to live that reality. He who wants to pretend to live the apocalypse, which so many people are talking about, will see it. He will live it and feel it. He who is balanced in their consciousness, heart, and especially in their stomach, which is the I am, he won't live that apocalypse, not because the extraterrestrials will take them from the planet, because he won't see the apocalypse as something destructive, but as a possibility of change. It's just an change. Even the word apocalypse means this. It's something that comes after. It's a change, so don't feel scared. Don't be afraid. Don't believe in the natural disasters that people say are going to happen because you are already living them. It has already begun. And nobody says it is the end. The process is already happening. It's just, it's just a change. It's a moment where a period of time comes to an end. The sun's night ends and it begins its spring. Dawn starts to break. The day begins. This involves a huge change because the vibration changes along with an electromagnetic change. Our brains, bodies, planet Earth, and all the systems we use like a computer, the video, work electromagnetically. Also, the sun works through electromagnetism, so the light of the sun may alter during the dawn of the sun. Why? To be concise, when one is awake at night and sees the dawn, you can feel a breeze and the birds start singing. It's a totally different atmosphere. The temperature goes down and then it suddenly goes up. What is happening? During the dawn, everyone starts to go through a change, a regeneration. The sun is going to go through the same process. That same breeze begins, but that breeze is electromagnetic because of the fire that the sun creates. So it's not humanity's fault that all of this is happening. It's just a cycle, a natural process of the earth where we have all chosen to be born and to experience and to help everyone who doesn't understand this change. Don't be afraid of any electromagnetic changes inside your body. Or if you feel dizzy, don't worry, you are not going to explode. Maybe you will perceive things beyond the normal vision. Maybe you will feel a lot of sudden changes in your physical and emotional structure. Some of the changes can even result in schizophrenic deliriums, but it's nothing that you should worry about. Also, these 3 days of darkness that people are talking about, if we have an electromagnetic overload, then of course the electromagnetic systems are going to fail. So yes, maybe the lights go off and there will be darkness for a period of time. But what is the problem? Is it the end of the world? The problem is the mass hysteria. That's why we must stay calm and tranquil. That's why my advice is to not stay in big cities with a lot of people. It's not that there are going to be more disasters where there are more people because God says so, but because the people, even if nothing happens, are going to get nervous just because it's 2012. So my advice is to stay calm, and during that period, don't try to do anything else than trying to stay calm and being present on the earth. Stay completely anchored on the earth, with your feet as though they were deeply in the ground, because really, it's the only thing that is expected from us in this process. If the wind comes, we must stay very straight so it can't push us around. It's the only thing we should do for now. Stay calm. The day after 2012 and for the next 50 years, important changes are expected to happen in economy, politics, and in society, where the intention of creating things in the world is going to have to change. There is going to be a lot of migration due to changes in one's own economy and food supply. People are going to have to move to new cities. The poles are going to end up melting, as many people are saying. So the water levels of the ocean are going to rise. Not only the coast, but also the inland lakes are going to raise their water levels. Politically, there may be a bit of social disorder where we are going to have to manage the politics, and not just one politician on his own. And maybe the climate changes are not going to allow society to restructure itself for at least 30 years. The next 50 years are going to be the transition process. And for those who say that in the year 2012-2014, through 2014, an era of love and peace is going to begin, this is not true. And for those who say that an end of chaos and total destruction is going to unfold, this is not true either. Simply, there's going to be a change. Each person will see what they want to see, but we must take into consideration these factors that society is going to change a lot. Not because the universe has said so or an angel has come to say it will be this way or that, but because there may be a shortage of food and water, and this will make things change. The factors that will provoke the change during this transition will be very human. Don't despair if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, because all of us came here to live the transition, and we decided to come to experience this transition. The light is for our children and grandchildren of the Indigo children, not the adults' generation. Later on, things will start to organize themselves and the crystal, golden, and platinum children will start to organize the new structure from 2040 to 2050, and we'll have it placed for 2080s, 2090s, and these are the years that we will fully be in the new age we call Aquarius. Aquarius has already begun vibrationally, but hasn't begun geologically nor astrologically yet. We shouldn't expect a sudden change from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. Another thing we have to take into consideration for the future is that no one is going to want to form groups. Everything is going to be very individual. So don't get frustrated if you want to create a new society in the future, because everyone is going to go their own way. This is how the age of Aquarius works. The evolution is internal, and it's not external anymore. In the next 100 years, the transition process is going to demand an internal, an individual process for each person. What one will see outside will just be the reflection of what's inside.